Hello guys, welcome to this 3D Blast tutorial. My name is Carlos Sosa. You can check out some of my work at my webpage and all of my social media. So for this kind of short tutorial, we're going to be talking about some of the most common mistakes when lighting a scene in Blender. And we're going to start with the first mistake, which is begin the scene with too many lights. And what I'm referring to this is like sometimes you get overexcited and you just start putting way too many lights, and what happens then is that everything's gonna look not really pretty. So what I always recommend to do is I'm gonna just turn these ones off, and you see, even if we don't have any lights in Blender, the problem is that there's something light in this and it doesn't look good. And if you start adding more lights, it's definitely not gonna look correct. So the first thing is you're gonna go to the world settings and just turn off the GI or global illumination, which is giving us this like kind of ugly color. So you can just turn it down and always start lighting your scene from scratch, like from totally black, because that's going to help you to control your lights better. So now if I show you my lights, it's going to look better. And just always never forget to name your lights. So I'm just going to put this one as like main, and then I can control from my outliner my both of my lights. So if I want to see what's the main light doing, I can check, and if I want to see what's the fill light doing, I can also check it from here. So the recommendation is to always be in control of all of your lights. You have to know what each one of them is doing, okay? And the second recommendation is going to be to not having a light reference. That's one of the biggest mistakes that sometimes people commit, and I'm going to show you on this example right here. And you see, well, this is a scene I made for a concept for a musical video from a Colombian band named Bomba Estéreo. You can check it out on YouTube if you search Bomba Estéreo or Tamborero, which is the name of the song. And for this scenario, I wanted to make a reference from one of my favorite movies, which is Blade Runner. And I'm gonna show you, that's my reference right there. So I was really like trying to copy this setup because I like it. But the point of this is that you need a reference. You need to get a, like, I don't know, find some photograph, find some a photograph, a guy or a girl that you really admire his or her work, and start following them on Instagram, start trying to figure it out how they light their scenes, and get just a bunch of good reference from lightings, from photographers, from 3D artists, and use them as a reference, because light is very complex. It bounces in a lot of places, and if we don't have a reference, the reference is going to be like our roadmap to get to our destination. But if we don't have a destination, we're just going to be kind of like lost in the way when we start to light a scene. And the third not and the third most common mistake is not giving colors to your lights. And what I refer to is like, in real life, every light has a color, and when you light a scene, it's not like in 3D that you only have this object here. You're gonna be filled with many other objects or many other props on the sides, and those props are gonna bounce light, so it's gonna give a different color to your object. So what I recommend you to do is always give a color to your lights. For example, on my main light, I'm giving it kind of like a warmer color, and on my fill light, I'm giving it more of like a colder color. That's going to bring the idea that there's something going on that we don't see on the camera. You see, maybe if I give this like a purple color, maybe it's going to tell me that I don't know, there's something pink that is bouncing, and there's something more that we cannot see, and that's going to be definitely way more interesting. And the last mistake I want to talk about is not taking in consideration the size of your light. And what I'm talking about is that when when you start lighting your scene, you need to consider, is this what kind of atmosphere you want to give to your shot. I mean, it's like something for like a studio lighting, is more something for a commercial, is something more dramatic. And that's going to be created by the size of the light. I mean, let me just make this floor a little bit brighter so you can see. Here you go. If I make my light smaller, sorry, not this here, is the size. I'm gonna make it really small. And what it's gonna do is not gonna affect the power, but it's gonna affect the shadow. It's gonna make the shadow real crisp. And if I see now my object, look, it's like a black spot here on the left that doesn't really let me appreciate all the details. And that's because the shadows here on the object are also really, really sharp. So if you don't want that, if you want something more soft, then of course, don't forget about the size. The size is the one that controls the intensity of your shadows, how soft or how hard they are. And look, that's gonna be like make a big difference in all the details that you get to show. So it doesn't mean that they always have to be soft shadows. No, you can also work with hard shadows, but it's definitely going to depend on what you want to communicate on your scene. So don't forget about these tips, and I hope they have been helpful to you. And I also wanted to recommend this course that I have. It's an entire course on environment design. I start from scratch, and I start using generated image from AI using Midjourney, and I take it and I totally recreate it in 3D using Blender. So you can check it out on Blender Market, Gumroad, and QBrush. So yeah, I'm gonna also leave the link on the description. So I hope you like this tutorial, and see you next week for more stuff on Blender. Cheers, guys.